Hello, gorgeous humans, and welcome to Tiny Talks. This is the podcast where we take big thoughts and make them a tiny bit more manageable, one tiny talk at a time. I am Samantha Gerritsen, and welcome to the first podcast episode of 2025. This year has already been very hectic, so I haven't really been able to get any main podcast episodes going yet, but we're getting back and started with that. This is also our first Tiny Talks Minisode, which is going to be a really short episode, 5 to 10 minutes, exploring a smaller idea, usually something that I've gone through, which I thought would be cool to share with you guys. Today we're talking about my last first day at school. We're going to be talking about the fears that brought up and how I've been managing it, etc. Today's quote of the day is, "We grow through what we go through," and I thought that was a really nice quote, especially as we're all growing up and having to face the big wide world as it is. My highlight of the week this week was probably Wellbeing Week at school, which I helped to manage. It was amazing. We had so many fun activities over the week, including friendship bracelet making, and we did scrapbooking, and we had a bake sale with some bands playing, and it was so cool to see everyone coming together, and the bands performing were outstanding, so it was really cool to see them. So yeah, getting into this week's short episode. My last first day was really bittersweet, I think. I mean, my parents found all of these photos of me as a 5-year-old on my first day of year one, and, you look back at photos like that, and as well as sort of looking at how young I look then, also thinking about how much I've grown through the years, and what school has been like, what my first day of primary was like, what my first day was like when I moved schools, what my first day was like going from primary to secondary in my new school, and then what my first day was like starting here when I got back from overseas. And it was really interesting looking back at that and seeing how I'd grown and developed, and how each of those first days changed for me, of what friends were like, what dynamics were like, what I was like. So it was really interesting looking back at that, and a bit scary as well. I think as well as what comes with the last first day, especially as a year 13, is looking at what I'm actually going to have to do after I leave school, and sort of, everyone's starting the push for looking at unis and hall of residences and stuff, and it's quite overwhelming because this year, as well as doing all my schooling and all my extracurricular stuff, I'm also having to look into what my future's going to be like. And of course, like, you hear lots of people saying, oh, you don't need to have everything planned out, but then everywhere you go in school, you're just seeing a table stall for this uni and come to the hall for this thing, and it's just like there's so much stuff going on, and you're like, well, what if I don't know what I want to do? I'm really lucky in that I've sort of decided what I want to do, but then a whole lot of other fears come up, like, what if this doesn't work? What if I can't get into this place? And you start having all of these cycling thoughts, which is not helpful in any way, shape, or form. But it's really interesting for me personally to look at sort of what the options are as well, and I'm someone who likes to have every single backup option under the sun, so it's quite nice also to see what other people are doing and hear from them. Another thing that's always really worried me about having to grow up and leave home is sort of like how I'm going to pay rent and find somewhere to live and get a job, because as much as growing up is fun and you get more liberties and freedom, it also comes with a lot of trying to figure out how you're going to make things work, and that's something that's always really stressed me out. I've been able to navigate that by talking to parents and friends and teachers and counselors and so on about what they're doing or what they've done, or what the best things to do are to manage those worries that I have, because of course parents and teachers and stuff are going to have experience on how to manage those things, and they've probably been through the exact same position that I've been in, or if not the same, very similar. And so it's really interesting getting people's different outlooks as well on the best ways to go around managing that. And of course it's going to look different for every single person, but it can be helpful to get some top tips, if you will, on how other people have been able to get through that. So yeah, that's about how short a mini-sode is going to be. So let me know what you think of the new podcast layout with the mini-sodes. It's really nice filming them because they're super quick and easy to film, and I can just find 5 minutes in my day to film them. And because they're shorter, they're a lot easier to edit as well. So flick me a message and let me know what you think. But that's it for today. So thank you for listening to Tiny Talks. Remember, you are kind, you're beautiful, you got this, and I will see you next time. Bye.